you don't even have to touch the flower to be a part of the business. I know a lot of people want to be a part of the, the cannabis industry, but it's like, hey, there's so many ways to look at it and to enter. You don't necessarily have to touch the flower. So I think that's definitely a big point that people should know.
Today, we are joined by CK Dunson, founder of a lifestyle company, The Garden District. In addition to fitness and lifestyle products, they produce hemp rolling papers under the name Bouquet. Yeah, wrap those papers up. We'll be talking about the overlap between fitness and cannabis, how to face rejection, and much, much more. Let's get to it. Very glad to have CK Dunson in the house, reigning from Albany, Georgia. That's a real nice area right there, real country area, real great place to be. I'm familiar with that area. And right now, currently, you are residing in Washington, D.C., one of those newly recreational cities that is definitely opening up in the cannabis industry. During our conversation today, I'd love to learn a little bit more about the cannabis industry in DC, also how social equity goes. But first, let's learn a little bit more about you, CK, a little bit about your background, as far as the cannabis industry goes, as far about how you and cannabis even got a relationship together. I know everyone has a little background and story on, how they even got introduced to the world of cannabis. And let me ask you, man, how'd you actually get introduced to this wonderful magical plant of ours? And just to add a caveat to that, how were you introduced to it? But also, how was it talked about in your family? Was it something that was a loose conversation where you were free to talk about it? Or was it like me, where you had like the church-minded parents where everything was a secret?
Yeah, man. So I was first introduced to it when I had to be like about 12 or 13 years old. I got older. I got a lot of people in my family. So my older cousins, they would, sneak off and do something. And me being the younger cousin, I'm like, what y'all doing over there? So that's how I first got introduced to it. But I really didn't I wouldn't have considered myself a user until college, honestly. And probably sophomore, junior year was when I considered myself I'm a smoker. I like cannabis. So, and in terms of my family, they were definitely against it. But the crazy thing is, it's crazy to see how the mindset has changed over the years. I remember in high school, me being an athlete and all that, they'd be like, stay away from drugs and all this. Yes. Cannabis is bad for you. But now I actually took them out, my folks out to Colorado 2 years ago, and they got to see the whole legal side of things and how they have in the business and how you can do more than just smoke. You have topicals, you got your vaporizers and all that, and their mindset completely changed. And they're we'll look into stuff for their parents, for ailments, you got any tinctures for this? My mom is feeling this and this, so. It's cool to see how they transition their viewpoint, because I distinctly remember cannabis was not a good thing in our household growing up. So that's that.
One thing I'll say about that, CK, I noticed just from a social, let's just say from a society perspective, I noticed that us as African Americans at times, in the neighborhoods we grew up in, we're not privy to certain information. So I think that there was a lot of ethnic groups out there that I think was privy to a lot of information about the health benefits of cannabis, and what cannabis can really do besides just get you high. But, in our neighborhoods, it was about just giving us information about where to find blunts and how to take the tobacco out and how to roll it properly and things like that. We weren't taught about all the benefits that's associated with cannabis. So I think that's the reason why any parent or any loved one would say, that's a no-go. Don't do that. That's bad for you. But as we're learning now, there's so many other benefits that I think most parents would now say, let me think about it the same way I would think about alcohol.
Yeah. And to your point, they had people filing for patents for it way back. If they doing that, then it's got to tell you something right there.
Yep. They knew about it.
They knew.
So CK, so obviously, this relationship that you had with cannabis has allowed you to say, you know what? I actually believe I can tip my hat in the business world of cannabis and actually can make a difference. So please tell me a little bit about the Garden District. Tell me a little bit about, the two projects that you're working on from the Garden Districts that really mean the most to you. We want to learn some more.
Yeah. So it all started with me, athletics all the way from high school into college, playing from the University of Georgia. From there, suffered like concussions, injuries, and the only thing that really helped me was cannabis. So I knew then and there, like, probably want to get into this space because I could see, thinking about it from an athletic standpoint, I could see a lot of professional teams and not just football, but like basketball, hockey, all that. Like I could see a lane there, you know what I'm saying? Between sports and cannabis. And if you, the big three, they signed up a CBD partner for one of their sponsors, well, Ice Cube. So it's happening. So from there, I try to get into the space, but it's a real tight knit space, you know what I'm saying? Because it hasn't been around for a long time, legally and officially. So, you got to know somebody. Try to get my name into a couple places, a couple buildings, didn't really work out for me. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to start my own thing. I've always had that mindset, been working hard as a kid, growing up from Albany, we used to working. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it myself. So I started the Garden District. Through that, that's where I do all my training, athletic training, and then that's why I started the bouquet line to get my hat into the cannabis space with the papers and the accessories. From there, speaking on bouquet, I just know I needed a team, right? Like you can only do so much by yourself, and I've been fortunate enough to work with some great people, some fraternity brothers and some other young Black professionals in the area. And we just been teaming up, learning as we go, building and grinding. And, I feel like if you keep putting the effort in, you keep grinding, like something's going to break and give eventually. And you just keep double down and digging. And that's what we've been doing.
Absolutely. So we got, so with the Garden District, you have that bouquet, which is basically, it's a rolling paper.
Yep. Got it right here. Organic hip rolling papers. But on top of that, though, we do clothing too. I don't know if you can see my shirt. We got this new campaign coming out, Practicing Safe Sesh, with the whole quarantine and all that stuff coming out. So we got like tips that you can use. So everybody's got their own tip. You don't got to share the same joint no more, the same bouquet. You pass it to the next person, they got their tip. We also got these, it's like accessories. So we got our trays coming out too. We did it all wood. Okay. Like that. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what we on right now.
I'm about to send you my address real soon.
Yeah, I got care packages for you. I got you.
Absolutely. So now, so on top of bouquet, you have an athletic approach that combines athletic approaches and cannabis. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, playing sports and all that, that's a part of me. It's a part of my DNA. So after I left college, I actually graduated with a finance degree. So I kind of got privy to business there, like learning about tax and accounting. So that kind of prepped my mind for when I graduated from college. So I stepped out, tried to do the finance thing for a little bit, but I needed to get active. And that's where coming back to that training kind of happened. And, once a lot of people started hitting me up, like, hey, you want to train me? I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and get certified. Let me start this business. And so I did that. And by doing that, you see a lot of different cases, like a lot of different types of people. And I've definitely seen a lane of people who benefit from using like CBD and cannabis as a part of their health regimen. Like they could either beforehand or afterwards to help battles like inflammation or pain, just to help with the whole recovery aspect of training, because, you're putting your body through stresses. And it's crazy. Like I even have friends that are like physical therapists and doctors, and they have to study the endocannabinoid system. Like they study this in school, in their doctor school. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like we've never talked about this in health class, in high school, college, none of that. But I'm talking to my friend. He smokes. He's getting his doctorate degree, and he's like, yeah, we study this. It's a real thing. I'm like, that's crazy.
Breaking the whole science down.
Yeah, he's breaking the whole science down to me.
So is it that you recommend certain like dosage? Like what do you do with your clients where it helps them combine cannabis and working out?
Yeah, so I can only go off my my own experience and how I dose. I definitely start small and figure what that is, and then go from there. And that speaks to the whole reason why we have to get this whole thing legally on the federal level, because without that, there's no testing, there's no standard to help people recommend, what should their dosage be. But for me, it's like, I'm not the biggest. I'm not trying to outsmoke anybody. I just do it to, to feel. I know it feels good for my body, and I go off my experience. Like, hey, I use this amount, and I'll start from there. Let that sit for like an hour, and then I kind of fill it out from there. But I think for the everyday person, I think federally we got to legalize this thing to get testing done, so that there can be some standards to recommend to people, that doctors can recommend to people.
Yeah, I think you were absolutely correct, man. Without federal guidelines, without the federal veil even being lifted, it's hard for us to be able to have a true national census. But I can definitely attest to the fact that, for me, I work out at least, I'd say about 3 to 4 times a week. And within that workout regimen, I'm always hitting. I'm always taking at least 1 to 2 pulls before I actually go do that workout. And I got to tell you, the workout's amazing. I'm able to push it past certain limits, and I realize that it helps you reach a certain mindset.
So for you, it's mental, and it allows you to get in that zone, that workout zone, to really get busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But for me, just as you said, dosage wise is important, because I've worked out with some individuals where they smoked almost a whole blunt and want to work out. Where for me, it's like I need like two pulls, and I'm like good. So I think it depends on where you at with your dosage. So you're absolutely correct. But for those that can tolerate the mixture of cannabis usage and athletics, I will say that it's better than any caffeine produced pre-workout that you'll ever take.
Yeah. And I try to tell people to stay off that pre-workout, man. Like, I think we had like coffee that's good, but there's a lot of stuff. It depends on what your pre-workout is, but the most produced stuff that's out on the market, it's got some other stuff in it that that your body don't really need. So, man,
I've had some pre-workout sessions where I feel like my heart's gonna come out my chest. I'm like, what's going on? But to touch one more time just on cannabis and athletics, I think there were individuals that were before our time. If you remember Miami Dolphins, Ricky Williams. I think so many people thought he was crazy when he kept failing his tests, and he got to a point where he realized, you know what? I'd rather lead the NFL than to continue to be injured and not have a way to deal with and rehabilitate myself.
And what's crazy is because they want to give you all these other drugs to help rehabilitate yourself, but they come with all these other side effects. Like, and that's what it makes, like, especially for sports that have that physical nature to it. Like, coming from my own experience, like, cannabis is the way, because like the physical trauma that you endure, you need to kind of counterbalance that, And Ricky Williams knew what's up. Like, that tells you right there. But a lot of people do, though. Like, at my college team, a lot of people smoke. NFL, a lot of people, they smoke because it helps to recover. So
tell me a little bit about, we all know about the cannabis industry, and it's like a suit and tie industry at the end of the day. When all the fun and the smoke and all that is cleared, it's a business. And of course, for me, outside of the cannabis industry, I faced rejections and complications that were above normal. So I can only imagine in this industry what's being faced. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the issues you face in trying to get your business together?
Yeah, like some of the issues, a lot of it comes to who you know and like funding, to produce trays and papers. You got to have some sort of funding to get stuff out. And then even to get stuff on shelves, right? Like when I first started out to, approaching stores, like, hey, can you carry my stuff? I would run into instances where like a 7-Eleven will be like, we can't do that because you got to go through corporate first. Like, we can't even put you in our shop because we have to get the okay from the corporate to put you in the shop here. So definitely like understanding those different structures that those businesses have and how to approach them to get your stuff in the shop. I'll even be like sometimes like, you know what, man, I'm not going to even charge you nothing. I'm going to just leave this here. You could just pass it out to people as they come by, and I'll just charge it up to promo. And then people be like, then they'll hit you back up like, people really love your stuff. Like, I need, I'm like, all right, I got you this time. We can make that work. Other than that, I think our business is, for Bouquet, we're definitely fortunate enough that we don't necessarily touch the flower. We're just papers and hemp, because with flower, there's a lot more regulation that comes with it. We have the ability to ship from state to state everywhere without having to deal with all the different regulations. So I think that's definitely benefited us, and we don't have to deal with all that headache, because I know some entrepreneurs, that's a big hurdle to get over there.
Yeah, I've realized the same thing. For me, I realized the same thing, CK. I so much want to be part of the cannabis industry from that business perspective, but I realized doing things like cannabis tourism, entering that tourism space, allowing me to be part of the cannabis industry, but not so much touching flower. And now I'm moving on to actually consumption lounges, which allows to have a place for people to compliantly consume, but still, once again, not touching the flower.
But that's a big thing too. Like, even out here in DC, a lot of people are looking for places where, they can safely consume cannabis. But it's especially, for people like you and I, it's not available to us like that, like other people. So
absolutely, yep.
Yeah, so that's a big thing right there that you just touched on. Because I remember even having our first couple of events to launch the brand, like to celebrate. It took us a long time to find a place to just even like, hey, are you guys cool with people coming in?
Friendly.
And you touched on another big point too, that you don't even have to touch the flower to be a part of the business. I know a lot of people want to be a part of the, the cannabis industry. But it's like, hey, there's so many ways to look at it and to enter. You don't necessarily have to touch the flower. So I think that's definitely a big point that people should know.
So I think we just gave a lot of people that may be listening to this, especially coming from a social equity background, how can I get myself more involved in the cannabis industry with all the regulations that's involved? Don't necessarily have to touch the flower. CK and myself are testaments to that. Let me ask you, CK, if you could talk to someone trying to get themselves in the industry, what would you tell them? What would you tell them would be some of the steps necessary for them to take for success?
Some of the steps, man, you got to get out and network. I know a lot of people, I feel like, will focus on like social media and all that stuff, but you got to get out, meet the people that you want to be a part of the industry with. Go talk to them, go meet them, connect with them on a personal level. And I feel like from there, the doors will start to open up from you. If you don't take that first step, like, if you just keep talking about like, I want to do it, like nothing's going to happen for you. But if you go out to a symposium, or even now they got these digital conferences, if you go sign up for a digital conference and just meet one person, that one person's going to open that door for you for 10 other people. And then your path starts to show itself to you. So I think that is the biggest step, is just get out, go to these meetings, go to these symposiums and get involved. And then that can kind of help shape you in terms of what you want to do in the industry. That might help you find some answers that you're looking for.
Hey, CK, you hit it right on the head. I think that one of the key things with having social equity opportunities is the word social. You got to be able to step outside of your community, be able to shake the right hands, be able to develop relationships physically, not just virtually. There's so much things that can go a long way when you actually look at somebody eye to eye and they have synergy with what you are speaking of. So I agree with that totally. Tell me a little bit about, did an interview with Honeypot, I believe, a little bit a while back. And with Honeypot, you described just a little bit of rejections you were getting in the cannabis industry. You can touch a little bit about some of those rejections you were getting and what made you, allowed you to be able to say, here goes some of the things I need to do to overcome those rejections.
So just reaching out, like I said, I got a big family, a lot of cousins, and they know people that know people, and they would be like, after I kind of expressed to some people, like, I want to be a part of this industry, they're like, I know somebody that might be able to help you out, and you can kind of, join their team and work with them. It's like all in Denver, Colorado, and Cali. So, you would hit them up, you get some interaction, but then, and I can't blame them because people are busy, you know what I'm saying? But after a while, people just stop responding, texting back, promises didn't go through. So, and I'm not the type of person that's going to beg for something. Like, if you really want me to be a part of the team or have me on board, you know what I'm saying, you will make it happen. And like I said, I don't fault anybody for not following through or responding, but people are busy, so, and they got their own things going on. So I just took it as a sign to, what, let me figure out what I can do. I took all the constraints that the game gave me. Like, this product doesn't cost me millions of dollars to make, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't cost millions of dollars for somebody to support us, the company, and buy it. So, and I use papers all the time, and it just kind of made sense. And then the name just kind of hit me, with flowers and putting them together and making the bouquet. And it all just came together. Like, it all came together.
Definitely works.
Because
you are putting flowers together. You are putting flowers together with paper, just on a different concept.
Yep.
So what is the future? What does the future look like for the Garden District? What do we look like a couple of years from now? What's some of the plans you have down the road? I think the papers are great. I think combining the mindset of athletics, cannabis is awesome. What's more coming down the road for the Garden District?
Man, what I and you never know, but what I envision, with the team is that we would like to come up with our own pre-rolls and stuff like that, specifically for different things. Like, it could be something geared for pain management, a flower benefit to help with sleeping. So definitely like our own pre-roll line of bouquet. I would love to work with some growers and get that cranked out. Other than that, we're just going to crank out more accessories that people can use, like the wooden trays, grinders, things that I feel like people would like to have in their house, in their situation, that's kind of look like furniture. Not furniture, but you know what I'm saying, can go along with your furniture. Like, you ain't got to like hide it, put it away, but it's like it adds to your space. It adds to the whole feng shui of everything. So,
whole feng shui.
Yeah, feng shui. But doing that, cranking out some more events, man. We have some dope events. We partner with some dope people like Cousin Jeff. Like, too bad we couldn't do the pool party this year, but the one from last year was crazy, and I was looking forward to getting that pool party cranked out again this year. So bigger and better events along too. I definitely see that coming down the pipeline.
Hey, let me get that invite 2021, please.
Yeah. I got you. The movie, man.
Yo, CK, please let everybody know, where can they find more information about you? Where can they learn about you and follow you through?
Yeah, you can follow my training at Stay Fresh CK. My motto, Stay Fresh. Being the whole Garden District, the freshest thing comes out the garden, so I gotta stay fresh. So that's where that came through. Stay Fresh CK. Okay. For our papers. Bouquet, you can follow us at rolling_bouquets. And our website is www.rollingbouquet.com. So that's where you can find us at. You can find a lot of our other teammates, OG QJ. He's a brand development manager. He's my fraternity brother. Crown Vic 7, another fraternity brother of mine. Alexis. Awesome. I send everything to you, bro.
The list goes on.
Yeah. I like putting my because they, we gotta do it together. So we put each other on. So
hey, that team minded is what gets the job done at the end of the day. Man.
Athletic stuff, man. Sports.
Real.
What it is.
Yo, CK, man, I want to thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being on To Be Blunt. And I want to wish you continued success in this cannabis industry. We can't be stopped. We just have to stay consistent.
I appreciate you, James. Thank you for having us, man. Thank you for the platform.
All right, that was a good one. Thanks for listening. Make sure and subscribe and follow me on Instagram at shyhigh_James. That's CHIHIGH_James. See you next time.